Welcome, everyone. My name is Jack Rome, and on behalf of the Center for Awakening, I'm glad to welcome you to Meet the Speaker, a live series with speakers from the upcoming 3-day online immersive conference, Awake in Stillness, The End of Dreaming, taking place from November 8th to 10th. This series is designed to give you a brief taste of the direct experience that you can expect from each session during the conference. Amoda Maa is a spiritual teacher offering a profound invitation to all of us who wish to embody the truth of awakened consciousness in the midst of everyday life. Her teachings are not affiliated with any lineage or tradition, yet the luminous truth expressed through these teachings is the same non-dual understanding at the core of many spiritual traditions. She offers meetings and retreats to a growing global community and is the author of Embodied Enlightenment and Falling Open in a World Falling Apart. She lives with her husband, Kavi Jezzie Hockaday, in New Mexico, and together they are the spiritual directors of the Amoda Maa Foundation. Amoda's conference session is titled Unveiling the Self. Her session will invite us to explore how the content of our experience creates the veiling of our original nature as unbounded awareness, and the subsequent sense of being a separate self as the source of suffering. She will discuss how we can facilitate the undoing of the veils of perception by meeting nakedly the life that is emerging through us, thus revealing the luminosity of being that is the foundation of freedom. So, Amoda Maa, welcome. Thank you so much again for joining us. And I know our time today is brief, just to give us a little taste. But would you mind giving us that taste by perhaps encapsulating some of this teaching as I was just outlining it, and whatever else comes up for you naturally that you'd like to say about it today?
Sure. Thank you, Jack. I think we can begin with a little guided meditation. It's more of a contemplation. So let's begin with eyes closed. So rather than trying to achieve any particular state, or trying to push away thoughts, or trying to do anything, instead, to allow awareness to simply scan the energy field. Awareness is simply the open space. The fact of awareness, the fact that we are aware. So just connecting with this for a moment, the fact that you are aware. And that this awareness is not located anywhere, but can move around. It can zoom in and zoom out, as well as being the field within which that zooming in and zooming out takes place. So let's not try to understand this too much, but just allowing awareness to land lightly on whatever is here in your energy field, in your direct experience. So let's say that awareness lands on thought activity. So becoming aware of thought activity. Allowing awareness to land lightly. It's a soft touch. It's not a hard focus. It's as if awareness is dancing lightly on the movement of mind, on the movement of thoughts like waves on the surface of the ocean. Nothing for you to do, nothing to get rid of. nothing to attain. And then allowing awareness to become aware of breath. The simple fact of breathing, like the ebb and flow of the tide. No need to change anything. Simply awareness, resting lightly. It's a light touch. Perhaps notice how different this is, the light touch, to a tight focus, a concentration. This is the undoing of the tight focus. There's no narrative here. There's no grasping or rejecting. Simply a light touch on what is. Breath coming, breath going. Breath rising, breath falling. And then allow awareness to fall into the belly. And again, a light touch. Perhaps there are feelings. Perhaps there are sensations. Perhaps there is stillness. Nothing to do, nothing to change. Just a light touch on what is. And then allow awareness to scan the whole body. Perhaps the hands, the feet, the back, the shoulders. Maybe the surface of the body. Maybe deep inside the body, the inner body. There's no narrative here. There's no fixating on a sensation. Simply a light touch. What does this mean? How does this feel? This light touch of awareness. And then again, notice how awareness is simply awareness. It can be aware of sensation, of thought, of feeling. It can be aware of mind, of body. It can be aware of energy. And then it can be simply aware of itself. Awareness, aware of awareness. Just notice. Is this awareness located anywhere? Is it localized? Is it fixed in time or space? Or is it unlocalized, unbounded, infinite, without an edge, without a boundary? Can you find a limit to awareness? Can you find a boundary or an edge? When awareness is simply resting as itself, as awareness. The open field. Open field of awareness. is the infinity of being. And you, as a finite experience, you and the content of your life as a finite, localized experience takes place inside this open field of awareness, the infinity of being. Okay, in breath, out breath, opening the eyes. So, what's being pointed to here, this brief meditation, guided meditation, is that when we focus on the content of our experience, which is the default position, yeah, we are constantly experiencing the content, our thoughts, our feelings, our sensations, the body, this happening, that happening, this circumstance, and so on, then awareness is funneled in, zoomed in on the content, and we derive our identity from that. Yeah. If it's welcome, if it's pleasant, if it's uplifting or inspirational or whatever, then we derive our identity from that. We interpret it as something to do with us. I'm a good person, I'm a spiritual person, I'm a happy person, I'm a lucky person, I'm a blessed person. And when it's unwelcome and challenging or turbulent or intense or painful, whether that's mental pain, physical pain, emotional pain, then we derive our identity from that. I'm not so spiritual, I'm wounded, I'm not good enough, and so on and so on. And so this constant interpreting of our experience, because awareness has got zoomed in and locked in, creates the self, the veils of self, I should say, the veils of perception through which we see reality. And what I'm pointing to here is the possibility through very simply, although it's an ongoing journey, it's not going to happen just in one fell swoop, to meet our experience, to meet the content of our experience lightly, with a soft touch, which allows the veils to come undone. Obviously, I'll go into this in more depth at the conference, but that's just to give a little flavor of the direction that I'll be going in.
Mm.
Because we often think, right, on the spiritual path as seekers, that it's the self that awakens. And somehow we become an awakened self. And that has all sorts of images about it. What that means, I'm perfect, or I don't feel anything, or I transcended the human experience, or whatever it might be, all variations. But it's not the self that awakens. It's the veils of perception that come undone, the veils that create the matrix of self, who we think we are. And with that comes resistance to what is. Resistance, rejection, or grasping, controlling, and so on, which creates a veil between us and reality, between perception and reality. So I'm speaking to the possibility of undoing those veils, not by any strenuous practice, but by a deep relaxation within. Which facilitates the undoing of the tight knot of ego self, because ego is not a static thing. It's a constant process of interpretation and interference with our direct experience. Without interference, without interpretation, we can meet reality nakedly. And that nakedness is what we call awakening. But it's not the self that's become an awakened self. We've simply woken up out of the dream, out of the illusion that I am this, I am that, I need to reject this, I need to hold on to this, I need to avoid this. Yeah, it's a very direct, pure meeting of reality.
Wow. Yeah. I adore the use of describing it as nakedly. There is something so powerfully vulnerable and vulnerably powerful about that, the texture of that way of understanding it. Mm.
Absolutely, and that's exactly how I often speak of it. It's a vulnerability, but it's actually our invulnerability.
Right.
It's our true power. Our true power is nakedness. And that doesn't mean that we shouldn't have healthy boundaries on a human level. We need healthy boundaries in interactions or crossing the road or whatever it is that we maneuver in the three-dimensional world. But this is on the deepest level, on the level that doesn't need any defenses, that doesn't need boundaries because it's awareness itself.
Beautiful. Well, I think we'll leave it there so that we leave all the rest for your session. I'm really looking forward to it. And Amoda Maa, thank you so very much for giving us the taste today.
You're welcome.
Wonderful. Well, to everybody watching now, maybe watching later, we really do hope that you'll join us at the Awaken Stillness Conference. Just a reminder again, it's November 8th to 10th, so it's coming up very soon. And you can register for free actually at purepresenceconferences.com. So until then, we really hope to see you there. Amoda Maa, thank you so much once again.
Great. I'll
Thank
see
you.
you at the conference.
All right.